I'm going to upgrade your shade.
The story of a king's death, a ghost's revelation, a brother's ambition, a queen's passion, a father's suspicion, a daughter's honor, a son's revenge. Now a man must choose whether to forgive or seek revenge on behalf of his father. To hate, to live, to die, to be or not to be. This is William Shakespeare's classic Hamlet, retold and reenacted by Mrs. Black's Homeroom.
Scene 1, first scene.
It is midnight at Elsinore Castle in Denmark. On a cold, windy platform outside the castle, a guard hears a sudden noise.
Who's there? Show your face.
It's just me, Francisco. It's time for my ship. Hey, had a quiet night so far?
Not a mouse stirring.
Francisco leaves. A few minutes later, Horatio and Marcellus arrive.
Hello, Bernardo. Has the thing appeared again tonight?
Not yet, but it has come for the past week.
The men suddenly freeze as a ghostly figure passes before them.
Look, there it is.
It looks just like the king who died.
What are you and why are you here? Speak to us.
The ghost looks straight at the men, then silently vanishes.
It will not speak to us.
No, it will not. But I know someone whom it will speak. I better tell Prince Hamlet about this.
Scene 2, the one before the third.
The next morning, in the castle, King Claudius meets with his family members and courtiers.
It is with equal amounts of joy and sadness in our hearts that my one-time sister-in-law and I celebrated our recent wedding. Despite the sadness we all feel, we must keep our chins up and look to the future.
King Claudius turns to his nephew, Hamlet, who stands off to one side, staring at the ground with a dark, brooding expression on his face.
Hamlet, my nephew and now son, why do you look so down in the dumps?
Yes, Hamlet, why do you continue to look for your noble father in the dust? You know that all lives must end, and all souls must pass into eternity.
Yes, I know.
Then why do you continue to appear so depressed?
I don't merely appear to be depressed, madam. How I look on the outside is nothing how I feel on the inside.
You mourn your father, and that's all right. But remember that your father lost a father once too. It's not manly to grieve too much. Stop brooding over your father's death and start thinking of me as your father. After all, you are the next in line for the throne, and I feel all the love for you that a father feels for his son.
Later, as the room empties out, Hamlet stands alone, still looking depressed and upset.
Oh, how I wish this too solid flesh would just melt away. Nothing in this world seems worthwhile anymore. This world is an untended garden, where weeds grow out of control.
He sighs and begins to pace.
I can't believe my mother married my uncle so soon after my father's death.
Horatio enters the room.
Hello, Lord Hamlet.
Ah, Horatio, it's good to see you. How have you been?
Good.
When did you get back from the university?
Not long ago, I came for your father's funeral.
Huh, I think you came to see my mother's wedding.
Indeed, my lord. It did follow soon after the other event.
Well, we're very thrifty people around here. My mother didn't want to waste any leftover cold meat and appetizers from the funeral. You know, I would have rather fought my worst foe than attended that wedding. All I could have thought was my father.
My lord, I think I saw him the other night.
Saw who?
The king, your father.
My father?
Yes, please, let me explain.
Horatio begins to explain to Hamlet about preparing before the guard.
Scene 3, the first one after the second.
Meanwhile, in
another part of the castle, Hamlet's girlfriend Ophelia bids farewell to her older brother Laertes, who is about to head off to college in France.
Ophelia, I'll be worrying about you on the way. I want you to watch your step with Prince Hamlet. I know he said some sweet things to you in the past, but...
Their father, Polonius, enters the room.
What is it that Hamlet has said?
He has expressed his love and made many promises.
Prince is just toying with you, I'm sure. He's out of your league, he'll break your heart, and then move on. I order you to break off your relationship with him.
Yes, Father.
Scene 4.
That night, Hamlet accompanies Horatio and Marcellus out onto the guard platform, hoping to catch a glimpse of the ghost. Just before 1 a.m., the ghost appears. The three men quake with fear.
Ghost of my father, why have you come? What is it that you want us to do?
The ghost begins to move down the platform, beckoning Hamlet to follow it.
It wants me to follow it.
Don't go after it, I beg you.
Horatio and Marcellus try to hold Hamlet back, but he struggles free from their grip and runs after the ghost, following it until he is high atop the castle's battlements.
Speak to me here, ghost. I can go no farther.
If you ever loved foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder?
Yes, my son. I was napping in my garden, as I often did. Your uncle came to me with a vial of deadly poison. He poured the poison into my ear. Almost instantly, it swept through my whole body. Thus, my life, my crown, and my queen were all stolen at once.
That horrible, wicked man! I knew it! I'll avenge you!
But I command you, whatever you do, do not lay a hand on your father.
The ghost vanishes.
Scene 5. The one after the 4th, but before the 6th.
Starting the next day, Ophelia follows her father's instructions. She returns Hamlet's letters and tries to avoid him. Eventually, though, a very disturbed Hamlet comes looking for her. After his visit, Ophelia runs to see her father.
Ophelia, you look upset. What happened?
I'm so frightened. As I was sewing in my room, Hamlet came to see me. His jacket was all unlaced and his clothes all dirty. He was so pale and his knees were shaking so hard they knocked against each other. He acted like a crazy person.
Maybe his love for you is driving him mad. What do you say?
He just grabbed me hard by the wrist and for long moments studied my face. He kept sighing. He seemed so changed, so odd.
What has caused the change, do you think? Have you said any harsh words to him lately?
No, my lord, but I have refused to accept his letters and I've tried to stay away from him just as you have asked me to do.
That is driving him mad. I will go and talk to the king about this.
Scene 6. The one if you had 1 to 5.
In the castle's assembly hall, King Claudius and Queen Gertrude speak with two young courtiers named Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, who have recently arrived from England.
Thanks for making the trip to Denmark so quickly. We have much need of your help here.
Hamlet has often spoken fondly of you two. We were hoping you can cheer him up and take his mind off his troubles. Anything we can do for your majesties?
Claudius enters the room.
Your Highness, I believe I know what has been troubling Hamlet. He has been driven mad by his love for my daughter Ophelia.
Claudius and Gertrude look over love letters and poems that Polonius hands them.
Roses are red, violets are blue. Not even honey is as sweet as you. Hamlet? Do you think Polonius could be right about this?
Hamlet appears at the far end of the hall, his face buried in a book.
Here he comes now. Let's leave him alone with his friends and see what they can learn.
The king, queen, and Polonius sneak off.
Lord Hamlet! Hamlet looks up from his book.
My good friends, how are you lads?
Not too bad.
You must be a little out of fortune's favor, or else you wouldn't be here in this prison.
Prison?
Yes, Denmark's a prison.
Why do you say that?
Hamlet refuses to answer. Instead, he asks Rosencrantz and Guildenstern about their travels. As they describe their voyage, they mention that they recently passed a theater troupe on the road.
One of the best troops in all of Europe. They'll be here soon. Won't you be fun to see them perform?
Not long afterward, a flourish of trumpets can be heard.
Welcome, actors!
Will you be putting on a show for us in the next few days?
Yes, indeed.
What shows do you perform?
Julius Caesar, the fall of Troy. We can do pretty much any story you'd like.
How about the murder of Gonzago? Do you know that story?
Yes.
Good. I'd like to see you perform that one tomorrow night.
A little later, Hamlet paces in the library alone, talking to himself.
Am I a coward? A villain? Those titles probably fit me well enough. Here I am, the son of a dear murdered father, and I've been ordered by his ghost to avenge his death. And instead of acting, I stand unloading my grief in my heart with words.
Hamlet pauses for a moment.
But what if that ghost was really a demon, sent here to test me? I'd better make doubly sure that my uncle is guilty before I act. That's where the theater troupe will come in handy. I'll watch Claudius's reaction to their performance tomorrow night. Then